This is Stevenson News at 10. The headlines.
Court clears APC's Dapo Abiodun to contest the governorship election in Ogun State.
Death toll and Lassa fever outbreak increases to 93.
Outside Nigeria, French cardinal found guilty of covering up sexual abuse allegations resigns.
And in sports, Argentina invites Lionel Messi for Venezuela-Morocco friendlies.
Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10. It's victory for the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Ogun State, as the court has cleared him to take part in Saturday's election.
While an Abuja High Court dismissed the case, alleging Dapo Abiodun did not take part in the National Youth Service Program when he graduated from university. The judge ruled that NYSC certificate is not a constitutional requirement for electoral office. Our senior political correspondent tells us the genesis of the case.
This case can be traced to 2015 when Dapo Abiodun wanted to aspire to become a senator representing Lagos Ogun East Senatorial District, and he actually filled a form that he was a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University, and this led to a further proof that if you went through Obafemi Awolowo University, it would be required that if you are no more than 30 years that you should actually go through the normal National Youth Service Corps. And when Dapo Abiodun was filling his governorship form in 2019, that's 4 years after, he omitted that. He removed the Obafemi Awolowo University and just put in his secondary school certificate in line with what the Constitution requires, that a minimum of a school living certificate. So some of the intra-party crisis they had within the APC, actually some people went to court with this, stating that the inconsistency that the form he filled, Form C001 that he filled in 2015 is actually different from the one he filled in 2019.
And still in Ogun State, less than 2 hours to the governorship election, rather like 48 hours to the governorship election, the People's Democratic Party in Ogun State has lost some supporters to the Allied People's Movement, APM. A faction of the party loyal to Ladi Adebutu, who lost the PDP ticket to Buruji Kashamu at the court, declared its support for Adekunle Akinlade of the APM. The camps of Mr. Adebutu and Akinlade then signed a memorandum of understanding on the sharing of political positions. The chairman of the PDP faction says Nigeria's constitution allows freedom of association, which they have exercised.
The Constitution permits us to permit us free association and freedom to exercise our civic rights according to our conscience. So that's just one of the reasons why we have adopted Honorable Kunle Abdulkabir Akinlade of APM. We are solidly together in our party. We have freedom to associate. We have freedom to vote for whoever we all think will do it better. Politics is all about responsiveness. Politics is all about credibility. Politics is all about being outright. So we found all these qualities in Honorable Akinlade.
Let's take you to River State, where residents are calling for peace ahead Saturday's governorship and state assembly election. This is in reaction to the violence and killings that took place in Abonima during the first half of the general election. Correspondent Okowa now reports.
Though the streets of Abonima in Akukutoru local government area are now calm, the reverse was the case 2 weeks ago. As the electorate head to the polls again on Saturday, the Kengema Unity Forum has gathered in neighboring Buguma community to speak out against further violence. The group warned against indicting any indigene of Kalabari Kingdom without evidence to prove their involvement in the attacks.
Our investigation also revealed that Kenneth Opusunju was innocent of this indictment as one of the sponsors of the violence that rocked Abonima on that ill-fated day. This is because evidence indicates that Kenneth Obusengi was in Kula on the 22nd of February 2019. It is just and fair to punish those found culpable and set free the innocent of the said killings.
I just want to say something about Engineer Ten Jacris. Ten Jacris has been a very good man in Kalabari Kingdom. So we need to take away all this nonsense in Kalabari land by putting people into problem. People that are not politicians. The man is not a politician. He has never engaged in politics. He has never been enemy to any person. They just want to bring problem to him. So I want to advise all sons and daughters in Kalabari Kingdom to take away problem in Kalabari Kingdom. Don't involve somebody that has never been a bad man.
They also appealed to residents in the area to vote peacefully for candidates of their choice.
Our heart also goes to the family members, the chiefs and people of Abonima who have lost loved ones in this unwarranted carnage. May God give them the fortitude to bear the loss. We also call on the people to come out in mass on the 9th of March 2019 and vote for credible and competent leaders that have the interest of the people at heart. We should all do this peacefully and orderly for the peace, unity, and development of our land.
Alongside the governorship and state assembly elections, supplementary National Assembly polls will also be conducted in the entire Akukutoru local government area on Saturday. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Buguma.
Still on election matters and in Rivers State, the Accord Party has rounded off its campaign with a rally in Port Harcourt. The party's campaign train and supporters took their procession to major parts of the oil city. This report is compiled by correspondent Chimezie Izejiobi. We'll bring you that report in our subsequent bulletins. Going forward, with today being the last day of campaigns before Saturday's vote, the candidates of the All Progressives Congress in Yobe State took their rally to Fika and Nguru local government areas. Michael Oshoma reports.
It was time to woo citizens in Fika and Gadaka communities, and that was the last stop for May Malabuni campaign train.
We used to call him Buhari of Yobe. They have the same attributes of leadership with Buhari.
In Nguru town, the two APC State Assembly candidates organized rallies to showcase how credible and competent they are.
I believe the process of legislation, I am fully conversant, I am fully aware, I am fully apprehended in terms of legislation processes.
Electorate, I'll call on them to come out on Saturday massively to vote for APC.
Balarabe Abdullahi is an influential politician in Zone C. He was a former PDP chieftain, but is now with the APC. He believes APC will clinch all elective positions in the forthcoming polls on Saturday.
For our people to come out in mass on Saturday to vote the governor and the House of Assembly members in Nguru.
May Malabuni and the APC State Assembly candidate commended Governor Ibrahim Gaidam for his style of leadership and foresight, and for carefully selecting credible candidates to pilot the affairs of the state for the next 4 years. Michael Oshoma, TVC News, Yobe State.
Ahead Saturday's governorship election, the members of the host communities of Nigeria Oil Producing and Gas, Hoston Delta State Chapter, have now endorsed Governor Ifeanyi Okowa for re-election. Leaders of the group who converged on Ole said their support is simply a reciprocation of the excellent performance of the governor in bringing development of the people of the communities. Hikena Amechi has more.
Gathered in the Isuko Development Union Auditorium in Ole are men, women, and youths of host communities of Nigerian oil producing and gas. They are united in their choice of governorship candidates to vote for come 9th of March election.
We should be actively involved in making sure the man who performs is re-elected. in appreciation of all you have done across the areas in the total district. Without discrimination, you deserve the second chance. When we saw what you have done, we did what has not been done for anybody in Lesotho before on the 10th of January. And today, all the ethnic groups have come under the umbrella of Hoston to tell you thank you.
The governor, while commended the people for supporting his second-term bid, attributed his achievement in the last 3 years to the robust partnership. He called on all residents to join his government in building a stronger state.
I want to thank you for publicly endorsing me and my team for Saturday's election. I want to reassure you that I'm going to work closely with you. And to work closely with every Delta to ensure that we build a state together. Because we all have a role to play in the building of Delta State. It cannot be about Okowa alone. Neither can it be about the House of Assembly members of Okowa alone. We must build a state together and take a state to a level that Delta State will be the envy of other states.
Okowa also inspected the ongoing dualization of the Emori Road in Ole as he charged the contractor handling the project to ensure completion before the rain begins. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Ole, Delta State.
You're watching TVC News at 10, still ahead.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrives Katsina, where he will be voting on Saturday.
Also coming up, residents of Ekpe in Lagos State rally support for Babajide Sanwo-Olu of the APC. Stay with us for details.
This is TVC News at 10. The All Progressives Congress in Osun State has rounded up its campaign ahead Saturday's House of Assembly election.
Well, the party urged the electorate to vote for all its candidates, as correspondent Rafiu Amit reports.
Candidates of the APC vying for House of Assembly seats on Thursday took to the streets of Ilesha to canvass for votes from the electorate. They moved from Itabalogun to Irojo, Olondu, and terminated it at Isona area. They were led by the leader of the State Assembly, Timothy Oweye, who is also seeking a re-election.
Basically, we are on the road to tell the people that we are at it again. The APC as a party is a reliable party, a progressive party that has the interest of the electorate in mind. We are here to sensitize the people about the forthcoming House of Assembly election, in which I'm fine for.
Owoye promised to justify the confidence reposed in him if re-elected.
Without an experienced member, there is no way the new member can perform better. But injecting him back to the system is a way to improve the workability of the system in the House of Assembly.
We've done our own assignment, we've done serious sensitization of people, we've done door-to-door campaign to mobilize people to see reason why they must vote for our party. Vote for any vote you have for APC is vote for development, for sustainability of the governance of Osun, the good governance of progressive in the state of Osun, and I'm highly optimistic I'm going to win this election.
They should come out again on Saturday, vote for Honorable Wale Adedoyin, vote for Owoye, and vote for BFK, so that the war will be easier for me over there in order to bring development to Ijesha land. And you know, I'm a grassroots person.
They want all security agencies to be professional in the discharge of their duties. Osun is one of the states where there will be no governorship election on Saturday. Rafiu Hamid, TVC News, Ilesha, Osun State.
And it was like a carnival today as residents of Ekpe community in Lagos State trooped out to campaign for Babajide Sanwo-Olu of the APC. The supporters of the candidate called on Ekpe people all over Lagos to vote for the APC candidate on Saturday. One of the party's leaders, Larry Razak, and the traditional ruler of Ekpe Kingdom say why the people need to choose Mr. Sanwo-Olu.
It's a wonderful day for us in Ekpe Division. We are going to vote. We are going to deliver Babajide Sanwo-Olu. We are going to deliver all our honorable members in the House of Assembly. Abiodun Tobun, Sketel Ogunkelu. That's why we are out, to let every voter, eligible voter, to know that it's no joking matter.
Ekpe is fully ready, and you can see our people, they came out en masse to support the party, and I believe by God's grace, come on Saturday, against all odds, they will be out fully to vote for our party.
We are ready to vote, and you will see this one, even it's going to be different, and if you yourself you can see it, the crowd, our sons and daughters, both indigenous and non-indigenous, troop out for Sanwo-Olu, and our son again, Honorable Tobo, for this election. They are going to win. In Ekpe, in Lagos State, they are going to win massively.
And it's more endorsements for the candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. This time around, it's from the Lagos State Medical Dealers Association, who say Babajide Sanwo-Olu's vast experience in the public and private sectors will be put to good use in the state. Theophilus Ilama has more.
It's barely 48 hours to Saturday's governorship election, but the Babajide Sanwo-Olu campaign is not showing signs of losing traction. The Lagos State Medical Dealers Association is giving its endorsement to the governorship candidates of the APC.
We love APC. This is where we live. This is where we do our business. Our families are here. So we love APC. We must work with the party of the state. We are the ruling party of the state where we do our business.
Having support from a very important organization like LSMD, and it's also a grassroots association. So we'll go a long way in ensuring a strong victory on Saturday.
This endorsement to us is very key, and politics is a game of number, so we want to talk to our friends and brothers and sisters that the continuity that we have enjoyed in Lagos, we should let it continue.
They are happy with the development strides of the progressive governors in Lagos over the years. They believe that the victory for Sanwo-Olu on Saturday will mean a victory for the development of the state. Leaders of the party and executive committee of the association shed more light on the endorsement.
Going through the manifesto of APC, we have gone through it and found that whatever they're doing favors us. And based on that, we decided to endorse them today.
They have actually invited us, that they must work with us because of what we have been doing in Lagos State for them.
What is important is to ensure that you create an enabling environment for their business to thrive, and also give them a window of opportunity to have access to government.
APC candidates in all the 40 state constituency will now have a greater chance of winning this election by this singular endorsement.
The consensus here is that all members of the association will vote for Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, the APC. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.
Away from Lagos to Zamfara, where the State Police Command has deployed more than 4,000 personnel to ensure hitch-free elections on Saturday. The command also banned all other security organizations from operating across the state during the elections. TVC News' Brian Bello sent in this report.
The Commissioner of Police, Celestine Okoye, invited all the governorship candidates in the state for these peace talks which took place in Gusau.
Aimed at building the confidence of members of the public, especially the electorates during the forthcoming night March 2019 governorship come State House of Assembly elections in Zamfara State.
The police commissioner disclosed that despite the current security challenges in the state, the last presidential and National Assembly elections were conducted in a peaceful atmosphere. He said the command has reviewed its strategies to ensure successful conduct of this Saturday's governorship and state assembly elections across the state.
We will recall that on 23rd February 2019, presidential and National Assembly elections were peacefully held in Zamfara State. This is an indication that the security architecture designed for the elections yielded positive results and will be sustained in the next elections. To achieve this, the command has reviewed its security strategies used for the last election and added more impetus to the ones we are going to use in the next elections.
Mr. Okoye also warned politicians to obey the rules of the game, as the command would not spare anyone found trying to cause the breach of peace during and after the election. He also called on all vigilante groups and other quasi-security organizations to stay clear from the election areas.
To contending with cases of election violence, such as political thuggery, snatching of ballot boxes, use of offensive weapons, hate speeches, and any conduct likely to disrupt the process. We have invited all the governorship candidates of different political parties to sign a peace accord undertaken. This is aimed at ensuring that violence before, during, and after election is not perpetuated by any party's supporters. And when such occurs, the signatory of the peace accord will be held responsible. Made it clear that we are not going to tolerate such thing. No quasi anything is coming close to a polling booth. And please, anybody you see that is carrying any weapon, knife, jackknife, even stick, and is standing close to a polling booth, please kindly inform the policeman around or any security agency you see around.
The signing of peace accord was attended by major political parties in the state.
Coming up on TVC News at 10.
39 new cases of Lassa fever have been reported from 6 states, with 8 new deaths.
Plus, French court convicts Archbishop of Lyon for failing to act on allegations of sexual abuse in his diocese. Details of those stories and more after this break.
President Muhammadu Buhari has arrived Katsina ahead of the governorship and State House of Assembly elections.
Well, the president's plane landed at Umar Musa Yar'Adua International Airport around 6 p.m. earlier this evening. He was received by Governor Aminu Bello Masari and some senior Katsina indigents. President Buhari has since proceeded to Daura, where he will be casting his vote on Saturday.
But before the president left Abuja for Katsina, he met with leaders of the Nigeria Labour Congress at the presidential villa. President Buhari advised them to partner his government in order to make the country peaceful, prosperous and corruption-free. State House correspondent Mario Lasende was there.
After winning the presidential election on the 23rd of February, the office of the president is still receiving visitors and congratulatory messages from Nigerians. The leadership of the organized labor is not left out and have come to felicitate with the president on his re-election as the president for the next 4 years. President Muhammadu Buhari thanks the labor leadership for their support and patriotism shown during the presidential election.
We had to deal with pensioners who were dying, some of them on queue, to collect their entitlements. We are just trying to make up, and we cannot succeed without your cooperation. I appreciate the pressure you are under in your respective constituencies. You are under tremendous pressure.
The president, even after winning the election, still questions what the leadership of the opposition party did with the country's earnings from oil, which reached a peak during their period at the helm of affairs.
I don't think the PDP has been able to successfully explain to this country what they did with that money. Because some of the roads, especially the main ones, from here to Onitsha, from here to Port Harcourt, since PTF days, not to talk of new ones. You knew it, the rail was virtually killed. And the power, where was the power? I asked the question. When they admitted, some of them, that they spent 16 billion American dollars on power. Nigerians are the best witnesses. Where is the power?
In his remarks, President of the Nigerian Labour Congress commended the president for being worker-friendly, as exemplified in granting of bailout funds to state governments to pay backlog of salaries and pensions.
I remember, Your Excellency, you publicly and openly asked state governors, how do you manage to sleep at night when the salaries of your workers in your states are not being paid? For us, that was one of the finest moments we have had with any president in this country. Your Excellency, I can stand here today and say your intervention was the difference between life and death for many of our workers and pensioners.
Organized Labour pledged to remain a veritable partner in progress with government, advising the president to continue to make the Nigerian people, especially the poor, the centerpiece of his policy initiatives and actions. Maria Olashainde, TVC News, Abuja.
And the president was also in Kaduna State, where he commissioned an aerial surveillance and monitoring system, the first of its kind in the country. Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai says the project has already cost 1.2 billion naira, with an execution time spanning 2 years. Our correspondent, Tese Makende, was there.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrived in the project commissioning site, accompanied by Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai and other senior government personnel. It's the president's first official visit out of Abuja after his re-election for another 4-year term.
By thanking you.
And the Kaduna governor appreciates the gesture in no small measure.
In Kaduna,
El-Rufai notes that his administration inherited security challenges cutting across several parts of the state. But he says several efforts have been made to address the issues, with the day's commissioning being one of such.
At no point
the Kaduna governor says this facility is equipped with unmanned aerial vehicles, popularly called drones, with ability to cover the entire state with very high-resolution cameras.
This package includes fixed-wing drones and rotary drones, supported by cameras tethered in several locations across the state. The drones have nighttime capability, and they are equipped with thermal cameras. The deployment of this technology is preceded by a security mapping of the entire state.
President Buhari applauds the Kaduna government for infusing technology in its security architecture. He is impressed at the capabilities of the system, especially the cameras with night detection effects.
I wish to commend the decision of the Kaduna State government to commit the significant resources required for infusing technology into the security architecture.
The president is taking on a tour of the facility with a select team. Journalists are denied entry, with officials citing security reasons. It's departure time and the president is off, with a call on Kaduna residents to be peaceful during the governorship and state assembly election on Saturday. Kaduna State has for several years been in the news, many times not on cheery notes. This aerial surveillance and monitoring system is expected to check security concerns and as much as possible facilitate for them to be nipped in the bud. Tassem Akendi, TVC News, Kaduna.
A story just coming in. The governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, is urging his supporters to remain committed to the task of securing victory in the election on Saturday. He was reacting to court judgment which dismissed a suit that sought to disqualify him from the race. He spoke to TVC News correspondent Kazim Olowe.
I'm confident that we will win this election, win by the kind of reaction that we have seen so far. We feel that we've managed to successfully endear ourselves to the hearts of our electorate. to the extent that to date we are having people defecting from their parties to our party, and I'm sure that is in the public domain. Only today, 3 different House of Rep members from ADC defected to us. We had the senatorial candidate of PDP and the central defect to us. We had the senatorial candidate in the east and the central defect to us. Today, the camp of the Okowa, a former governor of Ogun State, had a town hall meeting in which the whole team and that family endorsed my candidature. And when you start seeing these kind of signs, it shows that we're doing something right.
And away from politics, the death toll in the Lassa fever outbreak in Nigeria has increased to 93. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, released the figure in its weekly situation update. The center says there are now 1,374 suspected cases reported across 21 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. 39 new confirmed cases were reported between February the 25th and March the 3rd from 6 states, with 8 new deaths.
Outside Nigeria, a French court has convicted the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Lyon, Cardinal Philippe Babarin, to a 6-month suspended jail sentence for failing to act on historic allegations of sexual abuse of Boy Scouts in his diocese. The cardinal is the highest-profile cleric to be caught up in the child sex abuse scandal inside the Catholic Church in France. He was found guilty of failing to report allegations of sexual abuse in the 1980s and early 1990s by a priest who is due to go on trial later this year. Babarin has 10 days to appeal. His trial put Europe's senior clergy in the spotlight at a time when Pope Francis is under fire for the church's response to a sexual abuse crisis that has engulfed the church, deeply damaging its standing around the globe.
You're watching TVC News at 10. We'll go on a short break now, and when we return, it will be time for business news with Mr. Lamatosh.
Hello and welcome to Business. We'll begin with small and medium scale issues. V-Connect, Africa's leading generation and management system for small medium enterprises, has concluded a 2-day masterclass series for professional electricians in Lagos. The initiative supports improved service delivery through comprehensive business training, as our correspondent Ifunaya Eze now reports.
V-Connect and its partners are targeting to train over 400 small-medium enterprise professionals in the first quarter of 2019. Tagged Empower, the training series, which are value-driven, is focusing on improving the productivity and efficiency of the Nigerian small business professionals, which form a major section of Nigeria's informal sector.
Our aim here is to provide the communication skills for the electricians. It's not just about having the technical skills, it's about having the communication skills and how they can acquire customers and how they can retain customers. So here we've taught them how to communicate with their customers, and they should know that communication is not just about words, it's also about the body language, it's about what they do, what they say, how they say it, when they say it.
The plan really was to get some of the small businesses to tighten their processes. So small businesses, they are the lifeblood of the economy of this country. They contribute about 54% to Nigeria's GDP. So looking at their processes sometimes, we see that sometimes they actually lose money where they should be getting a lot of money. Some of them don't know how to cost properly. A lot of them do not know how to upsell, which is just looking at the work that you're supposed to do and being able to identify other opportunities to solve bigger problems. That won't just get you more money, but it's going to make the customer loyal to you.
Beneficiaries are optimistic about the impact of the Empower Masterclasses on their communication skills and global best practices for their businesses.
Previously, before now, I would say, we are just engineers. Call us to do the job, we do the job, and we get out. And majorly from business, we have discovered that it's not just doing the job. Sometimes you can't even get the job to do based on the way you communicate. And today's class is very enlightening to know what are the things you should take into consideration: your dialogue, how you go about dialoguing, and how do you achieve results.
And I've also noticed that not buying the right products, the right rating alone, will not do the kind of job we want, and it will definitely spoil your business with the clients. So having the right products, buying the best rating, having the right knowledge will help you sell very well and will help you deliver your services normally.
VConnect is partnering with ISHK Tolerant Foundation, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, and Schneider Electric to deliver the trainings, create maximum value, and enhance productivity in Nigeria. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
Now, ahead of the International Women's Day celebration, Nigerian women are asking the federal government and the state government to reduce the burden of multiple taxation, that this will help their business a great deal. They want specific tax incentives that will help women grow their businesses, as the present situation is impacting negatively on their day-to-day dealings. We have more in this report.
March 8 marks International Women's Day, bringing attention to the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. This year's focus is Balance for Better. It's aimed at gender equality, creating greater awareness of discrimination, and of course, celebrating women's achievements. The Association of Nigerian Women Business Network held a rally in the heart of Lagos. Their focus is straight. They want 40% inclusion of women in governance, easy access to credit, and the issue of multiple taxation addressed.
We want to create the awareness for the government to really make extra effort this time to get the right women, because most of the time, Nigerian factor is who you know, but we are saying get the right women, put the round peg in the round hole. Let those women who have the merits, the capacity to do the job at the higher level of governance be really picked.
We are believing that the government of the day would give cognizance to women and let us have our contribution into furthering the progress of the nation. Electricity is key, infrastructure in general, and of course, lack of funds for women to do business. And many people believe that many women, they are not able to run their business effectively, and that's not the case. I mean, in our team here, we have quite a number of women who are running successful businesses.
The women also want the government to help promote the patronage of made in Nigerian goods and provide platforms for interactive engagements with ministries, departments, and agencies of government.
We want a situation where all the agencies stop harassment of women in the marketplaces. Sometimes you see a woman with a small tray of goods. If you ask her how much that good is, probably about 1,000 or 2,000, and then a local agency would have collected money from that person, and then after collecting money, then they will come again and take their wares away, and then most of them will cry and all of that. We're saying stop harassment, provide for them, in everything that we're doing, and as such, it will help our nation.
The association consists of about 22 organizations whose members cut across different sectors of the economy. TVC News, Lagos.
And in Tunisia, inflation rate has increased to 7.3% in February from 7.1% in January. The Central Bank of Tunisia raised its key interest rate to 7.75% last month to tackle high inflation. The country's annual inflation was 7.1% in January, and that was down from 7.5% in December last year. The CBN Governor Marwan Abbasi expects inflation to drop to 6.8% this year. So stock prices have again come down at the nation's Securities Exchange, leaving many quoted firms with losses. And here is Efyong Ekop with Thursday's trade report.
Low trade persisted at the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Thursday as many investors showed unwillingness to play big in the equities markets. The volume of business dropped significantly in mid-trade as many investors moved for stock sales, preferring to hold cash. The market all-share index stayed in red from early morning till the close of business. Many analysts said that the market was in search of new ideas and orders to grow different sectors. Negative trade hit hard on University Press and United Capital as they left the trading floor with huge losses. Ifyong Ekop, TVC News, Lagos.
And that's all the business I have for you at this time. We'll go on a short break and return with sports. That was with promise. Stay with us.
In sport, Europa League round of 16 first leg matches produced exciting moments. On Thursday night, Arsenal suffered their first away loss to a French team after succumbing to a 3-1 defeat at Rennes. Nigeria's Alex Iwobi opened scoring early for Arsenal, but the moment the Gunners were reduced to 10 men, courtesy of a red card to Socrates, Rennes took the advantage to win 3-1. Villarreal were imperious in their 3-1 away win against Zenit St. Petersburg. Sevilla surrendered their lead twice to draw 2-2 at home to Slavia Prague. Bruno Petkovic scored from the penalty spot to give Dinamo Zagreb a slim 1-0 win over Benfica, while Frankfurt settled for a goalless draw with Inter Milan. Chelsea are 3 goals up against Dinamo Kiev. And of course, Napoli humiliated Red Bull Salzburg 3-0, while Valencia are 2-1 up against FC Krasnodar of Russia. Lionel Messi has been included in the Argentina squad for the first time since last year's World Cup in Russia. The Barcelona captain was left out of 3 international squads after Argentina's disappointing outing at the World Cup and had given little indication as to whether he would return. With this summer's Copa America on the horizon, Messi will return for the friendly matches against Venezuela and Morocco this month. West Ham midfielder Manuel Lanzini also returns to the squad after a long injury layoff. Also included are Manchester City defender Nicolas Otamendi and Watford midfielder Roberto Pereira. Nigerian golfer Georgia Obo fails to make the final cut at the Canberra Women's Classic in Australia. Georgia went into the competition with a ray of hope, but her debut was not impressive as she finished in joint 131st out of a field of 144 players. The 18-year-old player blamed her poor outing and not getting completely comfortable on the greens on her late arrival at the tournament due to long flight delays from South Africa, where she competed in another ladies' tour. The Nigeria Wrestling Federation are still making efforts to register more athletes for the forthcoming African Wrestling Championship scheduled to hold in Tunisia. Nigeria hosted and won the previous edition, held in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Reports say the Nigerian contingent to the tournament may be depleted due to lack of funds. Basketball now. Nigeria's senior basketball team, the Tigers, will know their FIBA World Cup group opponents when the draw for the competition is made in Shenzhen, China on March 16. And more than 6 million naira will be won in the first edition of the Lagos Media Marathon, billed to take place on the 1st of March this year. In the breakdown of cash prizes by the organizers, the male and female journalists who emerged top in the 10-kilometer race will take home 1 million naira each, while the runners-up will be 500,000 naira richer. 300,000, 200,000 and 100,000 have been set aside for the 3rd, 4th and 5th placed finishers in the media category. For those who will compete outside the media category, they will be rewarded, as the top male and female finishers will get 500,000 naira each.
If you are a media person, you are outside the media, you can win about 1 million naira, 500,000 and all sorts of money for running for about 30 minutes to an hour. So it's not left for you to go and train and get ready. You are paying a token of 3,000 to run. And that's the global norm. All over the world, people pay to run races. And we are rather, if you intend to run, go and train and be in very good condition to run.
The World Rugby Body, the IRB, is to hold a joint meeting with its professional game committee, union chairmen and chief executives and player representatives to settle the controversy surrounding its global competition plan. Leaked plans led to widespread criticism, with a number of leading players showing concerns about welfare and integrity in the sport. But World Rugby says under the proposed competition, media rights will be combined, enabling greater consistency and overall value that will boost annual revenue for international rugby and unions. And that's sports at this time. I am Promise Efoge.
Thank you, Promise, for the update in sport. Now let's bring you some campaign stories before we leave.
The Accord Party in Rivers State has rounded off its campaign with a rally in Port Harcourt. The party's campaign train and supporters took their procession to major parts of the oil city. This report is compiled from our studios.
Despite the recent court pronouncements on the status of Accord Party governorship candidate Dumo Lulu Briggs, his supporters turned out in their thousands for this rally in a show of solidarity.
Chief Barrister Dumo Lulu Briggs, he has done so well. He's a man of the people. He's a man of the town. He's a productive showboy. He has done everything, and so we are very sure he has campaigned wide and wide in River State.
For his part, Lulu Briggs called on the people to remain resolute, saying Accord Party would overcome its present challenges.
We don't care what they're saying, we don't care what they're doing. Come all out as Rivers people and vote for the party that you love, and that party we know is Accord. And we shall give you a government that will ensure that even in our listening, we keep a 360 degrees radius, hear you when you cry, hear you when you smile, meet you at the points of need.
Lulu Briggs used this outing as an opportunity to interact with residents and traders in Creek Road markets and other markets in areas like Borokiri community.
Come out and give your votes massively for the Accord. It's a time for change. Rivers people are not employed, they are looking for jobs.
There is still uncertainty over who would eventually be declared the authentic candidate of Accord Party in Rivers State. But Dumo Lulu Briggs and his supporters say they are confident that the appeal court will deliver judgment in their favor.
Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Nasarawa State has cautioned political parties against inciting party agents during the 9th March governorship polls.
Well, the resident electoral commissioner says that Uthman Ajidagba made the statement at a press briefing in Lafia, the capital of the state. Godwin Agram reports.
The February 23 presidential and National Assembly election was greeted with reactions from party agents at Collation Center, which heated the polity. This time, INEC is calling on political parties to caution their agents against inciting statements.
We had a meeting yesterday with the political parties, and we have brought this to their notice, that they should not only educate their agents, they should also not instigate their agents.
But the political parties feel that there will be no need to caution their agents if INEC is transparent in the forthcoming governorship polls.
Our party condemned their action and their response towards delivery of sensitive materials. We do hope that this time around they will be timely in the delivery of sensitive materials, and that we want to urge INEC to make sure that election commences as at their projection.
There were certain areas where either the materials did not arrive on time, or some materials arrived in time, but there were certain gadgets that were not working.
And that's the update at this hour. You can follow us on our social media platforms for more. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram using the handle @TVCNewsNG. You can also get details of all the stories we're reporting on our website, tvcnews.tv. Thanks for being there.